All right, in this brief but informative video, you're going to see 5 important things about AI generative fill to remove objects. I'm going to show you where to find your Photoshop beta, how to launch Photoshop beta from within Lightroom to maintain your current workflow, how to remove an object with the new AI, getting the best selection for the best results, and combining the new method with some old ones if it doesn't quite work perfectly. Let's get started. So just in case you have not done so already, you can find the beta version of the new Photoshop in the beta apps in the Creative Cloud shop there. So it shows up as Photoshop beta. If you are subscribed, all you got to do is click install, and then you kind of have to sit and wait however long your system takes. So take a nap. Anyway, so click open. And you will have a little prompt. It'll verify. This just does this once, no problem. Now you can drag and drop or go to File, Open in order to get your images into the program. However, if you are a Lightroom user, you can launch this program from Lightroom in order to maintain your usual workflow. You just have to do this one time. So you go to your Preferences, you go to External Editing, right there it is, and you click on the Photoshop beta for your Photoshop version, and you can make some adjustments to the other options here, the resolution, whether or not you want to compress the resulting file into a zip. Totally your choice, doesn't matter. So just remember that when you are done working in beta, if you want to go back to working in the regular Photoshop version, you got to go through that again and make sure that your external editor is regular Photoshop until they, combine the two. So now you can go edit and then edit in the new Photoshop version. So that will maintain your normal workflow. So you've got some really handy tutorials here right when you open this. So I would suggest clicking on the Learn More, just so you can kind of get an idea of how generative fill works. And you want to understand one thing about it in particular is that it works with selections. So understanding selections in Photoshop is going to greatly decrease your frustration. So if you want to remove an object, which is what we're here to see today, you have to select the object and then generate it without actually prompting it with any words, which thankfully that's kind of easy. You just do your selection and then you leave it blank and you click generate. So I'm going to go to the new remove tool, which is under my spot healing brush availability there. Now, if I don't have a big enough brush and then I release the mouse, it's going to try and generate that tiny little area there. Yeah, so in order to solve that problem, there's a little checkbox up here that says remove after each stroke. So if I make a stroke and then I lift my mouse up, it's going to try and remove. So if I uncheck that, then I can make a few strokes. I can lift my finger off the mouse. I can come in here and I can make my brush smaller. That's really important for getting a better selection to start with. So let's do that, make it a little bit bigger. All right, not the best selection, but now that I've taken off that remove after each stroke, I have to commit to it. So I got to click this checkbox. If you are in a separate layer, which to be honest, I should be in a separate layer to do this type of work, make sure that sample all layers is checked so that otherwise it won't work. So, all right. But because I had a bad selection there, it did a lousy job. So I'm going to use the quick selection, the object selection, and all I have to do is hover that mouse over that object and it knows it's there. It's so brilliant. Yeah, you got to agree to that before you get started. So I'm going to go in here and make sure my mouse is in that dialog box and just click generate without actually typing anything in. Depending on how fast your computer processor is, this could take a really short time or a very long time. So right here, you're seeing actual real time. And it's going to give you 3 options. So you can cycle through your options right there in the little box underneath where you made the selection. or you can do it in the Properties panel. So that's like a little before and after. It's kind of adding a weird head to a bird there in the back, which is weird. Okay, whether or not you feather selection. So you do have some options here below when you create that selection. So if I decided to feather the selection, you know, a few pixels is all I chose here. And I'm gonna, again, click in that dialog box, click generate, and just wait however long it takes. Again, this is real time. I wanna show you how long it takes. I'm on a 27-inch iMac 2020 with 64 gigabytes RAM. So when I feathered the selection, this is what I got. So that to me is an utter failure. That's going to require more work than I need it to do. So if for whatever reason you end up with something funky like that little, I don't know if it's a piece of wood, it tried to turn it into a bird's head in one of the versions, I just went back to the traditional cloning in order to fix that. So this is not a solve every single problem on the planet with your images, but it is a wonderful time saver and an incredible starting point in case you need to do some serious removal there, because that is before and after, and I think that did a pretty sweet job. I don't know about you, but I'm impressed. But because you started in Lightroom and you launched it from there, now this resulting image will be part of your Lightroom catalog and you are good to go. Have fun!